Welcome to the Greenway with Mac. This video takes you on a 6-mile stretch of the Des Peres Greenway, which is part of the Great Rivers Greenway. We are starting at the Shrewsbury Lansdowne I-44 Metrolink stop, which is the southern terminus of the Blue Line of the St. Louis Metrolink system. In addition to catching the Blue Line trains to downtown St. Louis, and destinations across the Mississippi River and into Illinois, the network also has a red line that continues north of St. Louis and it terminates at St. Louis Lambert Airport. There are also 6 bus routes here to help you navigate the area without a car. In this video, you will hear about the history, destinations, and important connections to the Greenway. While we have started at the metro station, the Des Peres Greenway actually goes north another 1.5 miles and provides a separated path all the way to Francis R. Slay Park. In total, the Des Peres Greenway will be 11 miles long when completed and stretch from Forest Park to the Mississippi River. Heading south along the Greenway, the ride is a smooth one that gently follows the little hills along River Des Peres Boulevard. This section was resurfaced in 2013 and is in great condition. The Greenway is nearly fully separated from vehicle traffic, so it is recommended for most users. As you'll see, there are some major streets that need to be crossed, but other than that, this path is pure joy. The ride today is 6.6 miles long and will have an elevation change of about 150 feet. And now we are going over historic Route 66. This historic road was one of the first highways built as part of the U.S. highway system. The route combined pre-existing roads with some new connections. By 1938, the route was fully paved. The stretch we just crossed was not part of the original route, but part of the first realignment. The creation of Highway 44 moved Route 66 to Watson Road, which becomes Chippewa Street, just north of that bridge. In most of Missouri, Highway 44 followed the general path of Route 66 and completely replaced it in most areas. To the right is River Des Peres Park. This quiet little park has a playground and an oval-shaped path that is designed for young riders to practice their skills in a low-stress environment. The River Des Peres Greenway is just one of the many individual greenways that form the Great Rivers Greenway. When completed, the Great Rivers Greenway will be a 600-mile network. Currently, 128 miles are completed. The type of path we are on is called a shared use path. Definitions vary by state, But this type of trail could be called a bike path or a Class 1 bikeway, since the trail is fully separated from vehicle traffic, except for the intersections. Take a second to hit the like button to help others find videos about these amazing Greenway projects. On the right is Fultz Baseball Field. This is a nice little park to relax, get some water, use the restroom, and if you're lucky, catch a game. The park is named for Paul Fultz, a legendary baseball coach who managed teams for 6 decades. Throughout the years, he was known for paying all of his team's expenses, passing on the sport he loved to thousands of kids. While the path also continues to the right for another 1/4 mile, we will be going left to cross the street and eventually cross over the river. This modern truss bridge opened on September 16, 2005. It spans 150 feet and is 12 feet wide. This is one of 2 bike and pedestrian bridges that span the River Des Peres as part of the Greenway network. The other is a few miles ahead and is the beginning of the Gravway Greenway. While we will be turning right at this intersection, if you go straight, you'll be connected to the Christie Greenway. This is a 1-mile greenway that is fully separated from car traffic that eventually leads to bike lanes on Christie Avenue. The River Des Peres is French for River of the Fathers, which was named by French Jesuit Catholic priests in the early 1700s. The original route of the river was formed during the Ice Age, when a wall of ice and rock blocked the Mississippi River. This obstruction forced the river onto a new route and went up as far as Forest Park. The path of the river we see today has been carved out, straightened, and lined with quarried limestone to allow water to flow out to the Mississippi River. The river used to carry sewage, which, thankfully, is now hidden in pipes that run underneath the river. When the river fills up now, it is from heavy rains and flooding. If you look closely, this crosswalk leads to the Carondelet Connector, a 1-mile-long Class 1 bikeway that sneaks past the Loughborough Commons strip mall and takes you to Carondelet Park. Look for a future video on that connection. And now we have arrived at the second bike and pedestrian bridge across River Des Peres. This one officially starts the Gravway Greenway, Grants Trail. Use the card above for my video on that delightful route. The The Greenway was officially closed on this 700-foot section, but they were just a few days away from reopening, so I took a chance. At the very least, I liked my odds better in the construction zone than down with the cars below. We are now in Lemay Park. The 18-acre park has basketball courts, picnic tables, exercise stations, and restrooms. From 1870 to 1910, this area was developed as a residential neighborhood. Unfortunately, the Great Flood of 1993 caused extensive damage to it. Rather than rebuild in the floodplain, the city decided to turn this area into a park. In hindsight, this was a wise decision. In 2019, the St. Louis region was once again devastated by flooding, including the park where we are now. This section was a few weeks away from opening and was a little rougher. The work was scheduled to be completed at the end of January 2022. This intersection is where the Des Peres Greenway officially ends, for now. The ramp leading to the future Greenway is completed on the left, but the connection is not yet complete. The gate at the bottom of the ramp was open on the day I filmed, and you can get to an unofficial crossing, but I do not recommend this route because it was cluttered with trash and generally looked unsafe. The final 3/4 of a mile of today's ride is not part of the Des Peres Greenway, but the path is good enough that moderately skilled riders can use this as a connection to the Mississippi Greenway. When you reach the traffic circle, make a U-turn and then take your first right before reaching the bridge you just crossed. Press the like button if you've enjoyed this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more like it. If you want to support the Great Rivers Greenway project, you can find a donation link in the description. Eventually, the Des Peres Greenway will connect to the Mississippi Greenway about 100 yards ahead at the train tracks. Follow the Great Rivers Greenway on social media to stay up to date on their projects and other news.